and then we hear about it. There's kind of a consistent theme over and over. But it's like, and then one of the things that came up when I was visiting Rick is I was like, you know, I feel like I came up through skateboarding, punk rock music. I'm not a musician. That incredible energy. I don't know much about hip hop. I was like, science had that when I first got into neuroscience. Like, no one talked about neuroscience. It didn't even have a name. We're just like brain explorers, cutting up brains, figuring out what to do, trying to figure out what these structures did and all this stuff. And then podcasting. It's like, I really feel like the podcasters, at least some of us, right? It's like punk rock. It's like hip hop, because we're not thinking about, I didn't sit down and like start my podcast and be like, I'm going to start the Huberman Lab podcast. I was like, I've just got all this stuff in me that I want to tell people because I think it's super cool. And a lot of it I think might also be really useful to them. And you're just being you. So when Rick or Lex is just being Lex, or Chris Williamson is just being Chris Williamson, or Whitney Cummings is just being Whitney Cummings. So when a podcast works, I think it's because you're just being you. And it seems so obvious, it's kind of almost trite, but Rick is like, exactly. And the biggest mistake is to take the feedback, the comments, whatever, the hit pieces, whatever, and to change who you are.
Right.
Now, there is sometimes useful information that comes back to us in ways we could do better in life, and certainly I am doing that. But the point is, at its essence, it's like the thing that makes podcasting beautiful to me is that I think we're right now, thanks in large part to you and some of the other early, you know, entrants, guys that paved the way, is that it's a real thing. It's a real discussion. Like there's no script. We didn't talk about what we're going to talk about before. Whereas when you go out there and you see these like highly overproduced or like media infused podcasts, like it's not like real.
Right.
It's not real. It's like got an angle, a story they want to tell.
It's not independent anymore. It became produced. Right.
And let's be real honest. If you look, you are consistently, this podcast is consistently miles and miles ahead of everybody else in terms of the amount of consumption of it. Why? Because it's a place where people immediately and consistently go, oh, it's like Joe's just being Joe. It's just like a real thing. And when I say a real thing, this is what Rick means, like people just being themselves, which like your loves, the things that bother you. And so I think that podcasting to me, it's like skateboarding. It's like punk rock. It's like hip hop. It's like a sport.
And
people love that.
And
people love that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know hip hop that well, but like you don't have to see Eminem very many times or watch 8 Mile more than a couple of times or listen to his music. Understand like there's an energy there. Yeah. It's not manufactured. That's him.
People love that. They love authenticity. That's why they love Old Dirty Bastard.
And I realized like the food part was kind of incidental. Mm-hmm. It was like the person. It's just being him. And that's why I think so many people loved him, is because he was just being him. And I don't know any more about it, but like I feel like people just being themselves is like the ultimate in personal development.